to the audiobook of New Social Studies, Grade 10. Unit 7, Lesson 7, page number 273. Political events after 2062-63 Bikram Sambat. After the royal proclamation of 11th Baisakh 2063 Bikram Sambat, dissolved Parliament, House of Representatives was reinstated and democracy was restored. On 15th Baisakh 2063 Bikram Sambat, the meeting of reinstated House of Representatives was held, and after that, new government under the premiership of Girija Prasad Koirala was formed. On 4th Jesta 2063 Bikram Sambat, the meeting of House of Representatives made a historical declaration of House of Representatives. The major points of the declarations were: Number 1. All the powers regarding legislature of Nepal shall be exercised by the House of Representatives. Number 2. The House of Representatives shall, as per necessity, specify the procedures for moving to the path of Constituent Assembly. 3. All the executive powers of Nepal shall be vested on the Council of Ministers. His Majesty's government shall be referred as Government of Nepal from now onwards. 4. The title Royal Nepal Army shall be changed to Nepal Army. 5. Chief of the Army Staff of the Nepalese Army shall be appointed by the Council of Ministers. 6. The power to make, amend, and repeal, REPEAL, repeal laws regarding the succession to the throne shall be vested on the House of Representatives. 7. The private property and income of His Majesty the King shall be taxable pursuant the law. 8. A question over the acts performed by His Majesty may be raised in the House of Representatives and in court. 9. The existing national anthem shall be changed by making alternative arrangement. 10. Nepal shall be a secular state. 11. The legal arrangements of the Constitution of the Kingdom of Nepal 1990 and other prevailing laws with this declaration shall be void to the extent of inconsistency. 12. Any difficulty that may arise while implementing this declaration shall be removed by a decision of the House of Representatives. The House of Representatives made unanimous unanimous decision to hold the election of Constituent Assembly, to negotiate with the Maoists, to make interim constitution, etc. 8 points agreement was reached between Maoist and 7 parties on 2nd Asar 2063 Bikram Sambat. Comprehensive peace agreement was signed between Maoist and the government of Nepal. On 5th Mangsir 2063 Bikram Sambat, and declaration of ending 10 years people war launched by the Maoist in 2052 Bikram Sambat was made. On the consent of Maoist and 7 parties, the interim constitution of Nepal 2063 was promulgated on 1st March 2063 Bikram Sambat as a document of political consensus. The election for Constitution Assembly 1 was held on 28 Chaitra 2064 Bikram Sambat, and the first meeting of Constituent Assembly declared Nepal as a republican state on 15 Jesta 2065 Bikram Sambat and ended centuries-long monarchy. After this declaration, the then King Gyanendra made a public address and left the throne voluntarily. Then Dr. Ram Baran Yadav, the leader of Nepali Congress, was elected as the first president on 6th Shravan 2065 Bikram Sambat, and similarly, Pushpa Kamal Dahal Prachanda, the leader of the largest party CPN Maoist in Constituent Assembly, became the first Prime Minister of Republic of Nepal on 31st Shravan 2065 Bikram Sambat. But the country's political situation started to deteriorate, deteriorate, and political turmoil, turmoil, continued. After Pushpa Kamal Dahal Prachanda, Madhav Kumar Nepal on 11th Jyeshtha 2066, Jhalanath Khanal on 23rd March 2067 Bikram Sambat, and Dr. Baburam Bhattarai on 12th Bhadra 2068 Bikram Sambat became the Prime Minister of Nepal. The Constituent Assembly 1 was dissolved on 14th Jyeshtha 2069 Bikram Sambat without completing its major task, that is, writing constitution in the country during the premiership of Dr. Baburam Bhattarai. The 4-year-long effort of political parties to maintain consensus, collaboration, and unity was not effective enough for the formulation of constitution from the Constituent Assembly. Constitution could not be formulated from the Constituent Assembly 1 due to the following reasons. Disagreement of political parties on several issues. Crisis of understanding, beliefs, maturity, experience, feeling of responsibility, etc. in political parties. Interest of political parties on forming and dissolving the government rather than drafting constitution. Negligence of political parties to the mandate and spirit of people's movement and power game. After the resignation of Dr. Baburam Bhattarai, an interim election council of 10 ex-government officials was formed under the chairmanship of the then Chief Justice Khilraj Regmi on 1st Chaitra 2069 Bikram Sambat. It became successful to hold the election of Constituent Assembly 2. Finally, after the election of Constituent Assembly 2 held on 4th Mangsir 2070 Bikram Sambat, Nepali Congress and CPN-UML emerged as the first and second largest parties respectively in the Constituent Assembly 2. Sushil Koirala, the leader of Nepali Congress, was elected as the Prime Minister of the country right after the formation of Constituent Assembly 2 on 27th March 2070 Bikram Sambat. After many serious dialogues, the political parties agreed to promulgate the new constitution. The great earthquake of 12th and 29th Baisakh 2072 Bikram Sambat caused the loss of lives and properties in 14 districts. In such disastrous situation, the political parties got united for the rescue and reconstruction, forgetting their self-contradiction. It also created an environment to realize the need of unity for the formulation of constitution and nation building. Hence, the constitution drafting process speeded up. Some of the agendas were kept undecided as it is to decide in future by agreement. According to the commitment made between political parties, the date to promulgate constitution was fixed. In the meeting of the CA held on 3rd Ashwin 2072, the Constitution of Nepal was promulgated by the then President Dr. Ram Baran Yadav. The government requested the Nepali citizen to welcome Constitution with great celebration and enthusiasm all over the country. Along with the promulgation of the Constitution, Nepal entered a new era and the dream of Nepali people for 65 years materialized. Right after the promulgation of the Constitution, the country had to suffer from unofficial blockade. After that, new cabinet was formed under the premiership of the chairperson of CPN-UML, Kharga Prasad Sarma Oli, KP Oli, on 24th Ashwin 2072 Bikram Sambat. Still, there are some constitutional issues to be addressed for the practical implementation of federalism in Nepal. According to the constitutional provision, the election of president and vice president was held. Bidya Devi Bhandari was elected as the first women president in the history of Nepal on 11th Kartik 2072 Bikram Sambat. It is a great achievement for Nepalese women in regards of empowerment. Similarly, Nanda Bahadur Pun was elected as vice president according to the constitution provision on Kartik 14th 2072 Bikram Sambat. The Constituent Assembly was converted into legislative parliament as it completed its job of writing constitution. A new cabinet was formed under the premiership of the chairperson of CPN Maoist Center, Pushpa Kamal Dahal on 19th Shravan 2073 Bikram Sambat. The first phase of local election was held on 31st Baisakh 2074 Bikram Sambat. Then Sher Bahadur Deuba was appointed 40th Prime Minister of Nepal on 23rd Jesta 2074 Bikram Sambat. During his premiership, the second and third phase of local election was held on 14th of Asad and 2nd of Ashwin 2074 Bikram Sambat respectively. The historical election of federal and provincial level was held on two phases. The first phase was held on 10th of Mangsir 2074 Bikram Sambat in 35 districts of hill and mountains, and the second phase of election was held on 21st Mangsir 2074 Bikram Sambat in remaining 42 districts. Similarly, the election of National Assembly was held on 24th of Magh 2074 Bikram Sambat. Immediately after the completion of all level of election, KP Oli was appointed 41st Prime Minister of Central Government of Nepal on 3rd of Phagun 2074 Bikram Sambat. Krishna Bahadur Mahara was elected as the Speaker of House of Representatives on 26th Phagun 2074 Bikram Sambat. Ganesh Timil Sinha was elected as the Chairperson of the National Assembly on 30th Phagun 2074 Bikram Sambat, and the President of Nepal, Vidya Devi Bhandari, was re-elected as the President of Nepal on 29th Phagun 2074 Bikram Sambat. The Vice President, Nanda Bahadur Pun, was also re-elected as the new Vice President of Nepal on 4th Chaitra 2074 Bikram Sambat. Chronology after 2062-63 Bikram Sambat. 11th Baisakh 2063, Historical Declaration of House of Representative. 5th Mangsir 2063, Signing on Comprehensive Peace Agreement. 1st Magh 2063, Promulgation of the Interim Constitution of Nepal 2063. 28th Chaitra 2064, Election of the Constituent Assembly 1. 15th Jesta 2065, Nepal was declared as a Republican state. 6th Shravan 2065, Dr. Ram Baran Yadav elected as the first President of Nepal. 31st Shravan 2063, Pushpa Kamal Dahal elected as the first Prime Minister of Republic of Nepal. 11th Jesta 2066, new cabinet formed under the premiership of Madhav Kumar Nepal. 23rd Magh 2067, formation of Jhalanath Khanal-led government. 12th Bhadra 2068, formation of Dr. Baburam Bhattrai-led government. 14th Jesta 2069, Constituent Assembly 1 dissolved. 1st Chaitra 2069, formation of Interim Election Council under the chairmanship of Chief Justice Khilraj Redmi. 4th Mangsir 2070, election of Constituent Assembly 2 held. 27th Magh 2070, formation of Susil Koirala-led government. 12th and 29th Baisakh 2072, great earthquake hit, huge loss of lives and properties. 3rd Ashwin 2072, Constitution of Nepal promulgated. 24th Ashwin 2072, new government formed under the premiership of KP Oli. 11th Kartik 2072, Vidya Devi Bhandari elected as President of Nepal. 19th Shravan 2073, new cabinet formed under the premiership of the chairperson of CPN Maoist Center, Pushpa Kamal Dahal. 31st Baisakh 2074, first phase local election. 23rd Jesta 2074, Sher Bahadur Deuba became Prime Minister. 14th Asad 2074, second phase of local election. 2nd Ashwin 2074, third phase of local election. 10th Mangsir 2074, first phase of general election of central and provincial parliament in 35 districts. 21st Mangsir 2074, second phase of general election of central and provincial parliament in 42 districts. 24th Magh 2074, Election of National Assembly. 3rd Fagun 2074. KP Oli appointed as the 41st Prime Minister of Nepal. 29th Fagun 2074. The President Bidya Devi Bhandari was re-elected as the new President of Nepal. 4th Chaitra 2074. The Vice President Nanda Bahadur Pun was re-elected as the new Vice President of Nepal. Activity Number 1. The political condition after the People's Movement 2062-63 was disorganized. Discuss about its causes and consequences in the class. Number 2. Why was the government formed under the chairmanship of Chief Justice Khilraj Regmi? Mention the achievement of that government. Exercise. Very short answer questions. 1. What was the historical declaration of House of Representatives? 2. When was the comprehensive peace agreement signed between the CPN Maoist and the government of Nepal? 3. What is Constituent Assembly? 4. When was the Constitution of Nepal promulgated through Constituent Assembly 2? Short answer question. Number 1. Constitution could not be formulated from the Constituent Assembly 1. Why? Mention the reasons. Number 2. The present Constitution of Nepal is a document of consensus. Justify this statement. Number 3. Show the major political events occurred after 2062-63 Bikram Sambat in a timeline using appropriate scale. Number 4. Mention the reasons behind the establishment of republicanism in Nepal. Long answer questions. Number 1. Were the wills and aspirations of people fulfilled after the People's Movement 2? Present your logics. Number 2. Compare between periodic election, referendum, and election of Constituent Assembly in 2 points of each. Project work. Consult with political personality and use internet or read books to find out the facts about the People's Movement 2 and achievements obtained from it. Include the obtained opinion and your conclusion, and then prepare a report on the basis of following subtitles. A. Title. B. Introduction. C. Objectives. D. Methodology. E. Findings. F. Conclusion and suggestion. This is the end of Unit 7, Lesson 7. This podcast is dedicated to visually impaired students. So if you know anybody who needs this book to listen and learn, please share the link, and also please subscribe the channel. Thank you and all the best.